Oh, what's up, everybody? Target individual CJBK. So, take this off. Oh, yeah. So, all right. Let's try to get some things situated. So, I got to fully see and experience the effectiveness of how, when, and how long um, they being the electronic handlers and whatnot, can you know use their frequencies to effectively control when someone can become emotionally unstable and when someone can actually revert back to, there goes my other magnets, and when someone can basically go back to a moment of calmness and everything. But all right, there's so much going on, and the fact that I'm the only one. So, well, okay, let me put it this way. My mom, she has an idea of what's going on, but um I'm gonna say it like this. She's partly right. She's partly right in the fact of she's aware of how frequencies can be used to manipulate people and cause damage to people's psychological health and things of that sort. I'm sorry about that. It always like get me at like the last minute or whatever. Anyway, but yeah, she's already aware because she's worked for a powerful entity, the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. She's already aware of things of that sort. But she doesn't realize how close to home that if I don't know if the Fed could be associated with it, but I do know there are groups and there are entities who are well versed in knowing the manipulative capabilities of frequencies on the psychological and biological systems of the human body. But it's kind of hard to try to talk to someone who's always been so strong-minded and controlling of everything that they touch, and then everything, especially when it's your children. You don't, someone who's strong-minded like that, they don't want to necessarily ever believe that their children at one point can actually know something more than they do. That's pretty much life-saving in a sense. But what else? And then there's oh, my sister. My sister, she is, I love my sister to death. I love her to death. But I do know at times she she doesn't necessarily believe what I'm saying. When it comes to gang stalking, when it comes to electronic harassment, she doesn't want to necessarily, because like most people, she believes it's a rabbit hole. It's like something you know that's like not believable. And you know what? I expect it. I expect it. I expect every bit of denial. I expect every bit of the I expect every bit of the uh the instance that people will not believe anything that you say. And this is why I'm so glad that I believe in God. This is why, because um hey, I'm not the only one that this is happening to, and it's not no and it's not a phenomenon. It's not a phenomenon because this is happening all across the world in several different countries. So it's not like it's just only a few couple tens of thousands of people who are talking about organized group gang stalking. It's not, secret societies. It's not like it's just, you know a few tens of thousands or a few 100,000. There's probably well over 1 million people across the world who are experiencing these things. And right now, listen to how quiet they are up there. They're basically probably just listening into everything that I'm saying. They just finished listening to me have a conversation with my sister about how we're trying to provide care for my mother and find a way to get her home. One thing I know for certain is I already felt the vibes of this place that she's at. Not everybody there is, I already, like, because as an empath, I know that not everybody there is, let's just say nefarious, you know. But I can already tell, and then based on, I'm glad he actually came into the conversation that my mother and my two cousins were having, while we were in this, I guess it's kind of like a entertainment area, whatever. Um, yeah, this guy, he basically comes and you know, he tells us about how, one day, my cousins had went to go and see. It was like this past Sunday or something like that. Was it this past Sunday or the Sunday before? I forgot the exact date. Was it this past Sunday? I think it was this past Sunday. Anyway, so they had just finished seeing her. My mother was calm, she was cool, whatever. So in my head, I'm thinking like, okay, so the handlers they didn't mess with her while my cousins were there and stuff like that. Now all of a sudden after they leave, my mother, she said, she was experiencing something weird in her room. She felt like frequencies and stuff was, you know messing with her while she was in her room. So then she decided that she was going to try to you know sleep or stay in another room or whatever. Then for whatever reason, while she was in that entertainment area, she was sitting in a chair. This is based on two different people telling the same story. She was sitting in this chair in the entertainment space, and next thing you know, they said that staff had rushed over and kind of like held her down and then gave her a shot of something. And you know what? When it comes to, okay, there's a part of me that's like, okay, when it comes to knowing what it's like, and at least just from testimonials of people working in nursing homes, or if they're a nurse, or just working in the health field, dealing directly with patients anyway, you want to try to have some type of, understanding or neutral ground when it comes to, dealing with people who have, who are experiencing certain things. And I get it. It's stressful. It's very stressful. I get it. I do not doubt that they work a very, very stressful job. But it's a whole different thing. It's a whole different thing when you are of an extremely close relative of a patient, and you come there and you ask for, you know, you're asking about, certain information about the patient, especially medication, especially if I'm the health proxy. I deserve to know these certain things about, what my mother's being given, um why was this, happening to her, or such and such. Anyway, so um but at the same time, I already know there are a lot of things that are being controlled of this world that I cannot necessarily have control of. Now, I can't say that I feel that I regret, ever wanting to, get my mother involved in the whole, getting her checked out psychologically. But I feel like it was probably one of the safest things to do, is because I'm not trained to handle, I'm not trained to handle, you know, people that might be experiencing psychological things. But anyway, um, so I can't beat myself up for that. I really can't, you know. And then on top of that, I'm already well versed and aware of the effects that, you know, um, frequencies, pulse frequencies can have on the brain, especially if you have someone's resonant frequency and you can tune to a certain type of emotion that can cause a person to feel emotionally unstable. Like there's a frequency for fear, there's a frequency for depression, there's a frequency for um a number or a plethora of different things. People don't realize that these things are very, very, very much real. But and then the sad part is, even if you give them the published even if you give them the published scientific study where scientists literally used frequencies to either induce something into someone or to actually heal someone of something, people still don't want to believe it. That's the crazy part to me. That's the real crazy part to me, because this is a published study and you still don't want to believe that this is capable of happening to someone. So it's like, you know what? This is why God said, those who have ears shall hear, and those who have eyes shall see. If they choose not to hear and they choose not to see, then you might as well just not allow yourself to become stressed over something you can't control. And it is what it is. So anyway, but yeah, so basically right now at the moment, the perps, they have me alone for the most part. They basically have been, while I'm in the house, they've been trying to attack me in many different ways, psychologically and physically. But knowing me and my vigilance, I've learned so many different things. So I watched Tony Pantalaresco's video again, herbs, beads, and something. Herbs, beads works, or something like that. I think that's the name of his YouTube channel. That's his first one. And he made this, video called protecting yourself from nano and frequencies. I think that's the name of the video. And he took he didn't use neodymiums, but he used something else. I use neodymiums, the ones with the holes in it. And basically what he did was he took 20 magnets, right? He took about 20 magnets and he used some masking tape. Masking tape, where did I put my masking tape? I don't know where I put it. Yeah, I don't know where I put my masking tape at, but yeah, he used masking tape, and he basically put the magnets repelling each other, you know, just like he just put them all. Golly, I don't know what I did with my masking tape. But anyway, he put all of the magnets together repelling each other. And what he said, what it does is if you put 20 magnets, that's not too powerful, or you just put 20 magnets repelling against each other, you know, and then you tape them together into a roll, that will create like a force field, right? A magnetic repelling force field, right? So me with neodymiums, I decided I was going to try the same thing, right? This is my version of it. I mean, it's smaller. I mean, like, so I basically made about three stacks of, right? Only reason you see this stick here is because I needed to find something that wasn't metallic but strong enough to actually be able to hold the magnets in place so that they don't you know, repel against each other and break apart. So what I do is, because I've done enough research to know that there are particular parts of the brain that, you know, the electronic handlers are focusing their concentrated, you know, like beams of light. You know, it's not necessarily like an infrared, but it's like a magnetic heat like beam. I don't really know the exact term for it, but I've learned that, okay, if you put a hat on, right, it's probably harder to sense if if you just did it with your you know, just your scalpel veil. But I noticed that when I put my hat on, right, it basically it helps. What's the words I'm looking for? When I put a hat on, it almost kind of like exposes the specific spots that they focus on. So straight through the middle, if where a lot of people complain that they feel where they feel a lot of pressure at in the top of their head. So like right here, right? But it goes straight down to the center of the brain, and then it's like right in the middle. Your pineal gland is there. That's where your pineal gland. That's one of the first things that they try to take control of, using this magnetic laser beam, whatever. That's one of the first things they try to take control of. Just next to that, probably about I'm gonna say it's about maybe about an inch and a half, or like an inch and a half. So it's like I have, there's one spot here, and then there's another heat spot right here where my thumb is at. There, I've learned that's where is it your motor, primary motor, or it's, I forgot the name of that portion of the brain, or it's a somatosensory cortex, where everything from like, you know, I forgot what this, you know, because they've been probably, you know, affecting the ability of my neuron firing ability. So they've been messing with that, and I can't remember a lot of things anymore. So there's that. Then there's also, let me see, if I go around here, right here, this is probably a part of the auditory cortex. Let me see. Yeah, auditory cortex, because I know that when so the moment I put that on that very same spot right there, I could hear a very high pitched tune. I could hear like I always hear a ringing in, you know, both ears, right? But the moment I put this on that spot, it increases exponentially. What else? And then, oh, right. So let me see. Okay, so
here, and then it kind of goes from here, and it runs across. Wait, let me see. It starts here, then it runs across the back, and then there's another spot. Then there's another spot here. Back here, that's where your visual cortex is at. Visual cortex is how basically the area of your brain that allows your brain to see what your eyes see. Remember, I'm not an expert in any of this stuff. I've just done quite a bit of research to make sense of it all, and I found a lot of studies that show how scientists are using all different types of devices, primarily an EEG or fMRI. What else? Near infrared laser near infrared lasers to basically sense frequencies, or to extract data from the brain and things of that sort. What else? So I did that. Then those back here, and then there's somewhere else. Yeah, and then this spot right here. There's a spot right here. Frontal. Let me see. Frontal lobe. Somewhere along the frontal lobe. I forgot exactly what that part is for. But yeah. So what I've been learning to do is I've been using these, and I would like place them. So like, let's say, okay, I take this and I kind of place it like right here, and then I put my hat on, right? Now, here's the more interesting thing, right? The more interesting thing is, once you place the magnet there, you will actually not just feel the heat increase, but it would just increase in that one spot. It's not like it's not like when you put a hat on and you just feel the heat increase all over. No, when your resonant frequency has been locked on by their systems, they then have now, they will have connected whole new target points, throughout your brain, because they have to stimulate or to decrease the amount of electrical impulses that are firing in certain parts of your brain, so then they can have a greater influence on you. What else? Yeah, and man, like the handlers and whatnot, they probably have heterodyned my sister at some point, and now I could tell by the way she's describing the pain that she's getting in her knee. She believes that she tweaked it while trying to get something out of her car or whatever. But I already know, even at her building, I already know that like since my targeting started, or electronic harassment, I already know. Even her, upstairs, people were basically a part of it. I'm not sure if they're still there or not, but I even know that during my targeting, they definitely they were a part of it too. So yeah, it's so insane to know what's happening, to like know it. to know it and then to be able to scientifically prove it. And then, especially ever since I came across Architecture Radio app, that app, that app just literally blows everything out the water. But it's like, oh, it's like you still can't. It's like you still can't convince people. And then that's when I start to realize it's like, you know what? Remember what God said, those who have eyes shall see, those who have ears shall hear. If they refuse to see and they refuse to hear, then just always remember, one, they're either supporting whatever's happening. Two, they probably know what's happening, but they do not want to go against the establishment. And then three, they don't wanna try to understand because it sounds too science fiction, and that is just basically not something that they really want to find themselves. It's like when they say, there's some knowledge that can be too, there's some information that could just be too much information that you would want to know, and then it's like once you know it, you can't unknow it. Like once you know it and you get it and you expose yourself to it, you can't escape it. It's like once you already open yourself up to it, it's just like that's it. There's no turning back. So some people just don't want no. Some people just don't want to know. Some people just don't want no beef with it. And it's just so it's because it's like everything that is happening. I have literally been able to find the scientific proof that all of these things are possible. But I can't force anybody to believe. So I have to just accept that I have to accept so many factors. One thing I know for sure, they can't beat me. That's one thing I know for certain. They can't beat me. They can't beat me. Plus, also, where is it? Luke 12. I think it's like Luke 12, somewhere between 3 and 5. I think it might be verse 3. Luke chapter 12, verse 3 and 5. But I think it's in verse 3. It mentions, paraphrasing, if they should kill the body, then there is not much more they can do. So I just think about it in that sense. It's just like, well, I've already learned how to overcome all, if not most, of their frequency manipulations. I'm such an empath. I pick up on everybody's, I'm such an empath, and we get so many phone calls of people who don't leave a message and they just hang up. And then, well, it's probably a lot of spoofing calls. That's probably why. But, and then I get so many, I'm such an empath and such a strong empath that I could literally walk past a person and I can feel their negative energy. I can literally feel negative energy or low vibrations, but I don't disrespect anybody, I let you go ahead and live your life, but just don't come fucking with me. That's all I said. I don't disrespect nobody. I let you do what you do. You live your life. Just live your life right there. Live your life over there. I'ma stay in my lane, you got your lane. And that's how I live my life. I grew up in environments where it's just like, it is what it is, survival of the fittest and blah blah blah, whatever. There's so many different things involved. But I've never disrespected nobody. Why? Because that's one, I don't entertain negative energy. I really don't.
I really don't. I've always been somebody who's been very positive, very jovial, you know, always a peaceful person, always a peaceful person. I would pray to God that, I never allow myself to get to a point where I no longer am that peaceful person. I pray to God for that person because I would, I'm not even going to speak it into existence, but I'm just like, Lord, just take the wheel. Just make sure that I don't ever, put myself into a situation that I can never get out of. But God is walking with me every single day. And I got my guardian angels. They're always keeping me on. They always keeping me from falling. They're always keeping me from falling. You know. Oh, but anyway, yeah. Right. And before I forget, so I had a few more magnets, right? So that was those. I got that one there, basically trying to see if it can. So right now, right here, it's like it's even more warmer, like because it's kind of like repelling out. Because even on my palm, all the way up here on my palm, I can feel such immense heat energy. It's like heated energy, and it's like all right here in my palm. And the higher, let me see. Right, it's yeah, like literally, it's such an immense like heat energy, almost as if like it's trying to move somewhere. But yeah, they trying to move it around. But anyway, so yeah, it's like it's a heat spot, right? And then if I place these in other spots, it basically is repelling that magnetic energy away from where they're trying to lock on to a stimulant. And then Tony, he creates a portable grounding, right? Portable grounding mechanism where this was like my not so Tony, but like I just used whatever I had in the house. I had been bought the copper sheets from eBay a long time ago, and there's two neodymium magnets. This brown thing, that's a stick. I just basically took pliers and just try to smash it down to make it flat. And then let me see. Can you see? Yeah, you can see the neodymium magnets on the inside, and they're repelling each other. So that's why I use the stick to try to basically keep them. Well, let me show you what the original. So these would be the magnets I'm using, right? These are them, right? Now if I try to put them together, it's really really hard, even with just two. Like to get it completely against each other, it's ridiculously hard. You know what? And then even if I were to, I think I got another piece of 1 second. 1 second. I'm like, I know I got another. Man, I thought I had another stick somewhere. Oh, there you go. Not necessarily the same. Nope. Let's see. Yeah, I don't have any more of the sticks I was using, but let me see. Can I fit this? Okay. So, ooh.
This is gonna be hard. Okay. So yeah, so as you can see, these are some very powerful magnets. They're hard to basically keep, centered. As long as I got like a stick in the middle, I could squeeze them together, and they'll keep from separating because the stick holds them in place. Um, yeah. So with them repelling each other, you lock the you kind of like use the copper. You use the copper as a conductor, and basically you surround the magnet. And then I'm supposed to use an alligator clamp. Alligator clamp would basically, this is supposed to be a much thicker copper wire, but I just took an auxiliary cord and stripped it. Use whatever copper that's inside of the cord, and I used, what did I do? I took like the top from I took this like the top of a bottle, like a glass bottle, and I just like used that to put around the copper wiring to increase its conductivity. And then I slipped it inside like a little slot. So like you see how there's like a slot here, but I bent it down closer. So on this side, there was an actual much bigger slot, and I slipped the bent up piece of the top into the copper slot, and then I used like this masking tape to cover it up. Now the thing is, what's supposed to happen is when you take this in, right, you place it on your body. Now, what a lot of people don't realize is there are frequencies all over your body. When you become targeted, right? When you become targeted, and you feel it instantly. You literally feel the pressure, the sound. You feel the pressure in your head go down. You hear the high pitch frequency sound reduce. A lot of things reduce all at one time, and you almost feel like a sense of it's almost like feeling like something is draining out of you. But here's the thing, the other end, right? Now I basically, let me see. So I basically took that end. Let's see. Yeah, I basically took that end and wrapped it with a piece of copper just to increase the conductivity of it as well. And then you're supposed to attach it to something that's metal. Attach it to something that's metal, something that's not touching your body. Because remember, this is the only part that's supposed to touch your body. You attach that part to your body, and what it does, it pulls the energy of the frequencies away from your body, and then it goes directly into whatever other thing. Now, here's the other thing. What they're trying to do now is what they're probably doing is, because I felt the difference. They could probably be directing something at this, because this is a big object here. They're probably directing something at the metal of this. There's no batteries or anything electrical in this, so whatever the case is. But Remember, we're talking about light energy. We're talking about, you know, let me see. Yeah, they were doing something, but I'm not exactly sure what exactly. But if anything, yeah, if you try this, it definitely helps. Um, it basically pulls out. Is basically a portable grounding. You know, it drains out the excess energy that you don't necessarily need in your body, and it, puts it somewhere else. Now, aside from that, like I said, I'm just trying my best to show you that there are some things that work against what's happening to us. Um, Watch Tony Pantalaresco's videos; he'll explain it more in detail, probably better than I am. And I try to remind people I am no expert in none of this. I am just as novice as anyone else. But the one thing I will not do is act like a defenseless victim. I refuse to be a defenseless victim. So, um, to all of them out there, may God have mercy on your souls, because you couldn't take me, so you went after my family. And you know what? The best part about it is, if they don't want to believe me, I have to let them experience what they are experiencing. I have to. Because you are already controlling the environment. You're already controlling other people that's working within the environment. You are already controlling resources that I can't control myself. So, in essence, I have to just let things be. This is just the way God is already planned it to be. If I can't convince someone to believe me, even though I'm providing them actual physical and scientific facts about what's happening, I have to let them go, and they have to just experience it the way they're going to experience it. Because, hey, sometimes God will let you go through so much suffering until you finally come around to understanding, yes, I think it's time for me to acknowledge that maybe there is something else going on. So, you know what? Just gotta let it go. Just gotta let it go. I love my family. I love my friends. But all those who turn against me, they turn against God. Because before what, 2 years ago, when I moved to that apartment in the Bronx, none of this was happening to me. None of this was happening to me. You know? So then and I mean, you know, people always knew that I read up on just about everything. I wasn't an expert at anything, but I read up on everything. So it's like, for me to just go from, you know, between September 2019 to about, let me see, I want to say September 2020, I go from being excited to getting my first apartment. Oh, I'm happy. Da da da. I'm cooking and doing little videos in my apartment of me, like, cooking and listening to music, and I'm cleaning, inviting people over, blah blah blah. Or at least I was trying to invite people over, because we were still in quarantine and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden I start going into, you know, there's people using technology. They're trying to, manipulate our minds and our bodies with frequencies. Look, here's the scientific proof that they're doing this stuff. And all of a sudden, everybody just started backing up. So I was just like, you know what? I'm glad we have the Bible, because the Bible talks about this. And this is interesting. Is so interesting to me, how there's so many people who call themselves Christians, and then when you bring up verses within the Bible that talks about this very same type of covert stuff that's happening, and they still be like, I don't know. They still don't want to believe it. And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, man, Jesus was a targeted individual. I'm like, Jesus was a targeted individual. And you still don't want to believe it, and you call yourself a Christian, but I'm not judging nobody, but it's just like, you just gotta leave it be. So I'm like, you know what? God is testing me, and God is gonna bless me either way. So kudos. You're successful at proving that you're a Luciferian. Kudos. But anyway, hey, like I said, they work for me. What I will say this though, every so often, you should definitely, take them off. I probably wouldn't wear them all the time because I know I slept with them. I slept with them on last night, and they worked perfectly fine. And then for whatever reason, I had took a nap earlier today for about hour and a half, 2 hours, and all of a sudden I just felt this. It was this huge congestion of almost like energy just in my head. Now, I also know that at some point your body is constantly expelling, energy going outward, So, it's also definitely to keep in mind that your body itself has to be able to get rid of excess energy. So that's one of the great reasons of why I've been trying to tell people you need to learn about Qigong, Qigong. Qigong exercises, because Qigong exercise teaches you about how to transition, or how to basically cleanse your chakras and how to disperse negative or excess energy from your body. Like something like just stiffening your hand like this, you can almost feel energy kind of leaving from your palm. And then if I wanted to, I would place my hand right above the pineal gland, right? And as I'm stiffening my hand, I could feel the heat building up right in the center of my palm, and then as I start to lift up, I could feel energy almost kind of filling up into my palm, imagine if you had a balloon or something. I don't even really know how to explain it, but right now in my palm there is energy in my palm. I really don't know how to explain it, but there is energy literally in my palm. People who study Qigong exercise, or who are, who meditate, people who understand energy, they can tell you, at least from a quantum perspective, that, you can actually hold energy in your hand, and then you can get rid of it. But hey, if you don't believe me, you can look it up yourself. So anyway, I know I really be trying. I really try to make my videos shorter, but I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. Maybe I think of it as just the genuineness of me trying to have a conversation with someone. Because when it comes to targeting, you just see society differently, and especially if you're an empath, you learn how to protect your energy by understanding the energy of the people that are around you. So you are very cautious of who you speak to. Yes, you still continue to be nice, and you still continue to be genuine, because you can't necessarily treat anyone differently, you know, or else it makes you look odd. Or you can't necessarily treat anyone differently because they haven't outrightly done anything wrong to you. Because remember, the whole point of them is to get you to do something wrong. That's the whole point. That's why they're always talking about, so we got a setup coming for you. Because they are trying to see if they can gaslight me to get a reaction out of me. But every day I walk past them in the streets, and you know, it's funny because it'll be like, I would be walking, right? I would be walking straight ahead like this, and then this is what they'll do. They'll be walking on the other side of me, and then they'll go. It's like they'll go, and then look straight ahead. I'll just be like, okay. Anyway, yeah. So just take a look into what I'm saying. That's all I ask. Just take a look into what I'm saying. And I'm gonna keep eating. I got me a curry goat roti, and I had got my mother a salad, but she didn't want to eat the salad. But anyway, take life one breath, one thought, one step, one day at a time. Peace.